Hey guys, it's Chala from Crafting Through the Chaos of Life. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. We are here with day 17 of Junk Journal January 2024, and our word is whimsical. Now, as soon as I saw that word, I had an idea pop in my head of something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and it is actually a journal that was created by Natasha over at Treasure Books, and I want to kind of recreate it. Now, my only issue is I'm under a time crunch. I usually have these videos kind of prepared a couple days in advance, but things were busy on the weekend, so I am behind, and so I am doing this actually the day before it's due. So I'm hoping I get it done. So, okay. When I also thought of the word whimsical, I thought of a great Etsy shop that I actually have a lifetime subscription to, and it is called Raven Junk Journals, and I cannot say enough good things about the images on that Etsy store. Like, they're just amazing, and here is some of them. I don't know if this video is doing justice to the colors on these, but this is actually called Whimsical Cityscape. Again, it's Raven Junk, I think it's Raven Junk Journals. I hope I'm saying that right. Let me just do one quick. Yeah, it's called Whimsical Cityscapes. And yes, Raven Printable Designs. Okay, Raven Printable Designs on Etsy. And this is the Whimsical Cityscapes. They have other awesome digitals that would work for a whimsical type of theme, but this is the one that I wanted to go with. And the reason why I chose this is because I kind of like the colors. They kind of went with this fabric, this upholstery fabric that I got again from my upholstery sample books, and I'm excited to finally use them. So what I did is I have some chipboard, and I cut down the chipboard to be a standard, almost like a card base size. So it should be these are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So yeah, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I'm just doing a little one. I would eventually like to do a bigger one, and I actually want to do an even tinier one. So this is kind of my idea. I want to, so I backed the chipboard, or sorry, I folded the, can I talk? I'm not sure. I folded the upholstery fabric around and glued it down. Now, I didn't do the best job, but I am going to be covering this. I'm going to be covering this with smaller images, so I just kind of want to give you a peek of this. So isn't that gorgeous? And then this is just some more of them. They come in different sizes: full page, half page, bookmarks, ATC trading cards, stickers, I think. Yeah, there's just you know, they're just gorgeous, aren't they? So yeah, this is I'm gonna play around with a couple of them. I even printed them really, really small as well. They come in all those different sizes. So I scaled one of them down to fit for the inside of the covers of the journal. Okay, and so this is going to be like an accordion journal. So these are going to get put on after, because I have to get the accordion portion put on first. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your front and back of your journal outsides, covers is what they're called, and you're going to cover them with, you could do fabric, paper, what have you. Don't put down the inside cover pieces just yet. Okay, so once you have yours covered up like that, you're going to set them aside. When you have your end papers, keep those handy. The next thing I did is I prepared, this was actually a 14-inch, yeah, I think it was a 14-inch by 8.5, 8.5 by 14, I think is what it was, piece of cardstock. You are going to want something fairly thick or substantial. You need something with good structure to it. Same thing with your covers. You're going to want something that has good structure to it, is a bit thicker and sturdier. The next thing I did is I made sure that it is the exact same height as my covers. The length doesn't matter. You can actually connect two pieces together if you want of these accordion bits. I basically just, for this one, I scored at 1 inch intervals. I think Natasha did hers when she did the bigger book. I think she did 2 inches for hers, but mine's smaller, so I just did 1 inch. Then I ended up scoring, and I cut it down because what you need to have is an even amount of flaps when you accordion fold it. So you're going to score at your 1 inch or 2 inch marks, and then you're going to accordion fold it. And what you need to do is make sure that the ends end the same way. And what I mean by that is, as you can see here, this is pointing down and this is pointing down. You don't want it to end with one pointing up, or if you do it this way, you know, you've got it pointing up here and pointing up. They just have to be the same. So you're going to have, I think, an even amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, an even number is what you need. Then what you're going to do is, after you fold it up, you need to remember which side is going to be glued down onto your inside of your cover. And when you go to do that, you need to make sure that these little peaks are pointing up so that you get a good fold. Because if they were pointing this way, if you glue it on, then this is a flat piece and it's not going to fold properly. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So make sure that your peaks point up. At this point, we're going to write, I'm going to fold that over, I'm going to write this side down. No one's going to see that. We're going to end up gluing that, but it's just going to help me remember when I go to put our little embellishments on this side down. Okay, so what this is called, or what Natasha had called it, is a flag journal, I think is what she called it. So you've got your little accordion piece all done. The next thing you want to do is get some shapes or cut out, you know, she did leaves on one, and then she did random shapes. She did squares, rectangles, all sorts of different shapes. And you want them to be big enough. So I have some of these that are actually, you know, smaller, because what you want is you want it to, if I put this on my little board here, or on my cover, when we go to put these on these little flaps, so they're gonna be glued and then sewn on these little accordion bits, and it just kind of creates flags. And then you can embellish these, you can write on the back, what have you, but you want to make sure that they don't go past the cover of your journal. And you're not going to have it pushed all the way down, you're going to have it come out a bit. So I have some different sizes and shapes, all making sure that they don't go past the cover of the journal, right? So I could potentially have even bigger ones. I think, you know, these might actually be a bit small, to tell you the truth. They might need to be bigger. I'll see if I can create some bigger ones, but I just created a whole bunch of shapes. I cut them out with my silhouette machine. So I'm going to do some random different sizes, and then I sewed around them with my sewing machine. You can, like I said, embellish them, put some words, do some clusters on them, decorate them however you see fit. You can leave them blank if you want people to write on the front. That's just fine as well for the plainer ones. So that's what you're going to do, is just remembering that whatever shape or item that you cut out cannot go past, you don't want it to hang over your cover. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? So I am going to go ahead and kind of play around. So this side is going to go down. So what you'll do is you'll end up laying these out, just kind of getting an idea of where you might want specific items. So if I have that there, and you're going to do them on both sides of the fold. So maybe I want this one here. Maybe I'll do 2 and 3. Like, you can just plan them out however you see fit. And then I will tack them down with either a little bit of double-sided tape or just a little shot of glue stick so that I can take it to my sewing machine and sew them. Now, the thing that you need to do is when you go to sew this, you have to make sure that you are not sewing any of these other parts down. And what I mean by that is you do want these, I'm trying to think of it, the best way to explain this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of glue stick. So that goes down. Add a little bit of glue stick there, and this is just to hold it until I can get to the sewing machine. So I want that one maybe there. And when I go to sew this through, I'm going to glue and make sure I'm gluing them on both sides. So maybe I want this one here. Just grab some glue stick. Maybe that one like this. Oops. Maybe I'll use a little bit of art glitter glue. It'll catch just a bit quicker. You just need enough glue just to hold it until you can get it to your sewing machine. And maybe I want, oops. Sorry, I just got to hold this for a minute here, just so it catches. And then maybe I want this one to go here. And then you also have to be a bit mindful if you have directional papers like this, that they're obviously in the right direction. Okay, so make sure that one goes there. Maybe I want this little guy here. Like that. And I need something that's been sewn. That's a lot of dots on there. What else do I have here? Do I have that one? I think I have that one already. Let's see. Ooh, will that be too big? That's gonna be too big. So yeah, I'm just kind of playing around. I might have to sew around some more here. Let me just see what else I've got. Yeah, I'll have to sew around some more, but then I would put maybe this one on here like this, and then it's creating these little flags hanging out the edge of your page. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, where it's folded here, I'm going to run this through my sewing machine just along here. So you can do a straight stitch, you can do like a straight and a zigzag stitch, but just securing that all the way along, making sure you catch these two sides, right? It's going to go through this one and this one. You don't want to sew through too many of these layers, right? Just one fold at a time. And then you're going to go to your next one, making sure this is not underneath your sewing machine when you sew. Tack it to the side and then sew. And then you go on to your next one, making sure no flaps are in the way that you sew them together. If you happen to sew them together by accident, that's okay. But the reason why you also want them sewn is if you open it like this, these are going to push up against each other. If you have that row of stitching there, it just stops it from opening too far. So what we're going to end up is with kind of like a little decorative journal piece, a little whimsical piece, if you will. So I know that's kind of a little hard to visualize as I'm doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and off camera, I'm going to kind of put this all together, just because it's going to be a lot of humming and hawing and going back and forth to what pieces I want. And I also did want to ink around these, so I am going to re-glue these on and ink around them as well. Should have thought of that before, but you know, you live, you learn, right? So I will go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'm going to come back with it all glued and so on, and then we'll go on to the next step. So the first things you're going to do is get your cover pieces. It can be old book covers itself. Just take the spine off. You're going to cover it with whatever fabric or paper that you want. Do not put the end papers on yet. You're then going to cut a piece of sturdier cardstock that is the same height as your cover. And then you're going to decide whether or not you want to score it every 1 inch or 2 inches. And then you're going to accordion fold it, making sure that you have an even amount of flaps and that your flaps end up like this. Then you're going to write this side down so that you know that this is going to get glued onto the cover of your paper. And then you're going to decide where you want all your shapes on your little accordion piece here. Attach them with either double-sided sticky tape or with a little bit of glue. Then you're going to sew them, okay? So if this one was glued on here, I'm going to fold it over like that, and then sew that I have all my different pieces that I choose already on there and sewn through. Okay, so I'm going to sew one, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, I am back and I have sewn all my little pieces together. Now, ideally what I wish I would have done is I wish I would have done 2 of these and glued them together so that I would have a bigger booklet, but I just didn't have time, unfortunately. So yeah, so not a big deal, because this is really just, it's my first time making this journal, so it was more of a learning experience more than anything, and I know I can fine-tune it the next time I go to make it. So this, you know, it is what it is in this time crunch. You know, I need to get my challenge done, and this is the way it is, and then I know that I can you know, work out the tweaks later. So what we need to do now is yeah, I do want to show you. So I did sew down, making sure I caught on both sides. And yeah, so just when I was feeding it through my sewing machine, I would fold the flap and feed it through one little kind of flap at a time, making sure I hold the other pieces back so as not to sew them, you know, together that I didn't want. So this works out really well because now it doesn't open too wide and push these pieces together. It's just kind of a fun little flap journal, a little flap journal. So now we need to attach this onto our bases or onto our covers. I also did sew around our cover pieces or inside end pieces here, just to give it a more finished look. So those are ready to go as well. All right, so I need to figure out which one I want. The front, I am going to put an image on here, so not a big deal, but this is going to be my front. This is going to be my back. Now what we need to do is we've written this side down, so we know that this is going to get glued on. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that when we glue this, it's nice and level, right? It needs to be flush with the back of the spine, and it needs to be flush with the front of as well. So it needs to be kind of exact. And when I put it in here, I can see that I have a few pieces hanging low. So not the end of the world, but ideally you don't want any pieces hanging over top or below, so, or out the edge. So, you know, learning experience again. I'll have to just kind of be more mindful the next time I make one that I don't have pieces hanging over the edges. Okay, so this is going to go this way. So what I need to do is I'm going to use my not glitter glue, I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. And I really want to make sure that this is glued down well. You know, I may actually use a couple different types. I might use this Fabri-Tac as well as art glitter. So just making sure I get a good amount of glue on here for coverage. I'll leave that on its side just so it's easier to work with. Yeah, I'm going to double up on glue here, just for my own peace of mind. Okay, and then I need to be very careful and put that together. So just making sure again that it is flush on both ends and flat on the bottom here as well. And I'm just going to give that a hold. You might want to clip it really well. Clip it really well. That doesn't make sense, does it? You'll want to clip it and let it dry really well. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the other side on, and then I would clamp it and probably let it sit overnight, to tell you the truth. So, okay. So that one is good. Now let's glue this one. Making sure it's all secure. This is just going to be for me, so I'm not overly worried if I have to do some touch-up. But again, if I was to sell this, I would want to take more time. But this is just kind of my first crack template here so that I can work out all the bugs. Now, would I go any smaller? I'd like to, but if I do go smaller, I am not going to sew around the edges of my little shapes. That just took a long time. I did a couple of these little tags and I tried to sew around them. It was really quite tedious, but again, if I had more time, I might give it a go, but nothing like me working at the 11th hour to get stuff done. But I'm still keeping up with doing a challenge every day, so I have to give myself credit for that. Okay, so it's not completely dry yet, but that's okay. I'm going to go on to my next little bit here. And I thought I had an image. That's too big. I have like a ton of images that I kind of cut out and I've got stuff everywhere. So, okay, so we've got that glued down. The next thing we need to do is take our end pages. And I want that one here. Now, need to glue that down right like that. So when I'm looking at this, I have these little bits overhanging on the end pages. Not a huge deal. If it bothers you, then you'll want to make sure that your end pages, you know, cover the most of, like are as tall, but I think you're going to have a little bit of hangover regardless. I think think Natasha did as well. I'll have to go back and watch her video, but I will definitely link her video down below as well, because she does obviously a much better job at explaining this than I did, because she's, you know, made a ton of these journals already. The other thing that she used that I would like to have used, I just didn't have time, is actually fabric in here. So around them, like different textures and stuff. I think that would be cool. But, you know, in order to satisfy my challenge of whimsical, I am, you know, just kind of doing the bare minimum, let's be honest here. But, you know, it's still cute. I'm still going to like it. I'll make sure I get my edges really well here. But I mean, I like it for, you know, how quick I had to knock it out. I think if I had originally wanted to do this on the weekend so that I had more time to get the pieces cut out. I would make my little flaps like wider, longer, like I had said. Not a deal breaker, but, you know, just some things to, like I said, tweak on the next go round. Probably going overboard with the glue, but better to be safe than sorry. Get that lined up. Gosh, I really love these papers. There are so many files from Raven. What is it, Raven? Now I forgot what it is again. But I do want to tell you, because it is such a great site, and I do recommend, like, if you can do the lifetime membership, that's the way to go. Raven Printable Designs, yeah, so cute. Yeah, their stuff is really cool. Okay, see, I like that. And then you can just decorate it. So I'm going to clean up this gloop of, actually I'm gonna, while I have my glue, let's figure out our yes, one of these. Which one do we want to use? This one. I like this one right here. So we're going to cut this out. Like this. I probably should have done this earlier, but you know. And this will just be a cute little focal point for the cover of our journal. Now you don't have to ink, you don't have to sew if you don't want to. You can just cut, like I said, different shapes and corner around them or what have you. I think it's so cute. It's such a cute little thing. And it's whimsical, it's fun, right? Glue that on. Ooh, this stuff is, it's a lot warmer today here, so my glue is behaving a lot better, that's for sure, which is nice. There's nothing worse than misbehaving glue. Now you could put metal corners on here as well if you wanted to jazz it up. Nothing says you can't. Now I do want to find some lace to put around that, or some bling or something. It needs, ooh. Kind of looking at that. Is that too much? It might be too much. Is it too much? Could bling ever be too much? I don't know. Just kind of going through my my little trims and stuff here. Put that, that's a little dark though. I have some green stuff like that. No, don't like the green. What do I have that I like? Ooh, ding. Got some, my daughter's messaging me. I'm just gonna pause this and see what it is because it's her bedtime, so I'm just gonna figure out what she needs. 1 second. Okay, so a minor issue. There was a spider issue and my husband got it out of my daughter's room, but he's released it into my living room because he didn't want it to freeze outside. I cannot stand spiders, and so now I'm not going to sleep knowing that this thing is going to be roaming around our house. But nonetheless, gave me time to figure out what I was going to use around. I decided to go with some bling, and I already glued that down, so that is done. I think it is super cute. I kind of would have liked some lace as well, but I couldn't find any that really went with this, so but that's okay. Again, this is just kind of for me, and it's my first try. I did a really good job of getting that nice and flush here, so I'm happy with that. It's cute. I like it. So what we can also do is, oh my goodness, you guys, I have such a mess going on. I was like throwing stuff everywhere. But I'm just gonna move some papers here. What I want to do is find my little, oh dear, I'm just gonna throw everything on the floor. Wow, that's just fine. Do I have my words? I'm looking for my words. There we go. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So then what we can do from here, we've got everything glued in. Isn't that adorable? So the things that you want to make sure is that when you put your little flag objects here, they're not going to hang over the side here or the top. I have a few hanging over the top, but that's, again, okay. This is just for me. The other thing is you don't want these pieces to be right down into the spine. You want them out just a bit, and then when you go to sew, you want to be able to catch both on this side and on this side of the flags, right? So you're leaving a space. Again, I could have done a better job of spacing these out, but again, this was done very quickly, but I'm still really happy with it. It's so cute. So what we can do now here is you can write little things on here. Again, if you're doing a bigger journal, these are going to be much bigger. They'll be, you know, cards that you can actually write quite a bit on. And we can also decorate them with words and little clusters. You could put little paper flowers on them. Maybe I want that. Happy girl, that's cute. I like that. I think I'm gonna glue that on there. Yeah, you can do little collages on them. You know, that's something too. You could do a masterboard and cut it up and use the masterboard as your little flag pieces. That would be cute as well. Let's do happy girl down here, because I'm a happy girl with how this turned out. Yeah, so then you can just go ahead and put on different things. If it was fabric, you could put little fabric clusters on there as well. I like that on there. I'm going to put that on there. So now I can just go through at my own leisure and I can just decorate this up how I see fit. Isn't that cute? I love it. And then it stands up nicely. It's a nice little whimsical journal. Well, it didn't take me as long as I thought it did, but it still, you know, it took a little bit, but it is worth it for sure. I recommend you giving it a go. Again, I will link to Natasha's original video where I saw this, where I got the idea from, down below. As well, I will make sure I write down Raven Printable Designs in the description box as to where I got this really cute Whimsical Cityscape pattern paper. I think it's so much fun. All right, guys, well, I apologize if this was a discombobulated video, but I did enjoy myself, and I hope that you definitely give this type of journal a try, because it was a lot of fun and I think it's super cute. The other thing I didn't do that Natasha did, which I might do afterwards, is you can put lace down the center here, or a ribbon, just to give it some decoration. I'm going to cut this little piece here just so I can show you. So yeah, you can add an embellishment on the pages down the middle, and I might go back and do that so that every page has a little bit of this bling embellishment, just to tie it into what I have on the front, and then just to give some interest on the center here. So obviously this, I'm not going to glue it right in the center. It'd have to be off just a little bit so that the pages can fold. If you're doing lace, it should be okay. It should bend nicely in the middle there. All right, well, with all that said, that is today's word for whimsical, or today's prompt, whimsical. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for the prompt word, borders. All right, guys, have a great day, and P.S. I love you.